I'm good. I'm good now.
You're good to go.
3, 2, 1,
Action.
go. All right. You girls are crazy. Here we have a female sulcata. Last night on Facebook, they sent me a post on my personal Facebook page showing me that we had this large prolapse here out the back. When it comes to prolapsing, there are basically two types of prolapses in the female. One can be the reproductive tract and two can be the colon. The good news is this girl actually has been pooping aside from this prolapse. So either one, it means one of two things. The rupture itself, it's ruptured in a way that it can still poop, okay, out of the colon. Or two, this is actually a reproductive tract prolapse, and which means that we may be able to get this thing back in. The question is, how long has it been out? There is a bifurcation in theirs, just like there is in ours, and right now I'm only seeing one horn. So we're going to get some x-rays in a few. Actually, we should take her straight to the x-ray room.
Yeah.
We'll get some x-rays to see if there's any more eggs in there, and hopefully get an idea on if they're in a certain area of the turtle or if they're spread throughout the coelom, because it's a very big possibility the reason she's straining and done this to herself is because maybe her uterus is ruptured. Okay? Okay, it is Thursday morning. We're at Bayview. I have tons of vet shadows here, including clients I didn't recognize because of the facial hair. Anyway, not to bring any bad memories up, I do remember Luna very well. So anyway, we were presented with this tortoise this morning that's had a prolapse of her uterus, her left side, for over, well, maybe around 24 or more hours. So we ended up getting her in today. We were able to partially remove some of this stuff that was hanging out the back. That tissue you see on the floor. Thank you for all my help. Welcome. Show us your muscles. We were able to hold her upside down while I numbed it and then did the surgery itself. Unfortunately, right now she is so tense in that area, she would not allow me to put that tiny piece of tissue that you see hanging there back in. So that's where we're at for now. So we're just waiting for our chance up at anesthesia. All right, it's about 5 more minutes till noon. So we're working on this case for at least 3 hours now, or a good 3 hours anyway. This uterus and tissue was hanging down to here. We've actually had to remove part of it as a salvage procedure. The good news we didn't see any loops of gut or any problems as far as that goes. Now what I have to do, once I've gotten this part sewn back together again, is get it back inside there and see if we need a purse string. She has been so tense that she'd poke her tail down in the hole and we'd actually be causing more damage to that tissue than we needed to be. So we decided to give up or wait till we had a chance for gas. Here's our job shadows for the day. She's usual. That's just a punk. The muscle, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I was really thankful because it's the first time we actually did job shadows put their fingers in the nastiness and so forth. So anyway, so we are on gas. We're on SIVO in the back, and hopefully be enough to sedate her. All right, so wait and see. Okay, this is our troublesome tortoise case today. All right. This is the left side of the tortoise here. What I want you to notice is there really are no eggs predominantly on this side, but there are eggs predominantly on this side. As I'm palpating the tortoise from the back end back here in the cloaca, you can actually feel that the uterine horn was going off in this direction, or the salpinx, and that's enough for me to put 2 and 2 together and say that the left uterine horn was the one that was prolapsed. We were able to poop past the prolapse as well as urinate past the prolapse. What I want you to notice is on this side, there's an egg there. You can see some small calcifications. Oh, there you go. Now you can see them really good. Those are still meant to come out, okay? I did my best not to damage the uterus to put it back in, not knowing if I was in the bifurcation or what I've actually removed. But what we did is I had to suture it up to save her life as quickly as I could. At a later date, we'll probably end up going in over here in the prefemoral area with an endoscope and bringing the uterus to the wall. And then once there, we'll actually take these eggs out of that hole one by one. But that's going to require a whole different hospital with a different setup as far as surgery goes. Here at Bayview, we do not have that. I have all the scopes, and my main screen that I usually have been using for the last 20 years is at Socia. So we'll probably end up scheduling this at a later time, sometime in the near future at Socia. So that's where we're at for now. Anyway, those eggs inside there are just scaring the hell out of me. The good news is she's waking up from anesthesia. We've gotten it back in. The purse string is holding, and she has some healing to do before we decide the next step. How's that for cool? In a very sad, complicated tortoise kind of way. All right. Wish her luck. Oh my God, what a bear of a case. Okay. Get it short and skinny. This sulcata came in here with about a foot of uterine tissue hanging out of her back. According to x-rays, it was her left uterine tissue. Her right uterine tissue still has some eggs in there, which is going to be a future problem for us to solve at a later date. We tried to save the tissue by putting it back in, but between her fighting and not going down for anesthesia or cooperating, we ended up having to do a local block and removing what was exteriorized. The good news is there was no loops of gut or anything extremely important in there we could find. It all seemed like it was reproductive tract tissue. So after about 30 or 45 minutes of gas, and got her relaxed enough where I could actually hit her tail vein and give her some propofol. And at that point in time, we were able to put it a purse string, and we happen to have some job shadows in here today, which is awesome, and they even helped. Cool case. Later. So this is post-op. As you can see, there's no tissues hanging back there. All of it's poked in. Purse string is in and holding. It is an absorbable suture, but we'll probably end up taking it out. I'm going to give this girl a few days to a week to see how she does. There are so many questions when you do a procedure like this. You take the uterine tissue that's hanging on the outside, you try to salvage it as best as possible between the sharpness of her toes. If you see those little sharp needles there, and of course those up here, we're not near her uterus, but to give you an idea just how sharp and how menacing this girl's soft tissues are on the outside. That could be enough to cause any bit of damage, so we tried to remove it as best we could, so we won't be dealing with secondary infections. All kinds of things can be an issue with her. Not to mention the fact that she could have a peritonitis, and just it goes on and on. So anyway, this girl's far from out of the woods. I give her a 50% chance of survival. But we did what we could. We worked hard for her, and she is beautiful.